2118 Owen Drive, and we are proud to be a part of the Wake Up. Come and join the team.
I'm Apostle Georgia Walker of New Hope Gospel Ministries Incorporated, 1059 Southern Avenue. You're listening to Wake Up.
This is Pastor Sarah Alford of Joy Fellowship Outreach Ministry, and you are listening to Wake Up.
Any views or opinions presented on this program are solely those of the host and do not necessarily represent those of the owners, management, staff, advertisers, or sponsors of this radio station. It is not our intent to make any defamatory statements or infringe upon the rights of any human being. Any such communication is contrary to our core values and belief as hosts of Heartbeat.
Sharing information and inspiration. This is WIDU, the We Do Network.
ATC Tower, this is Heartbeat Flight 2026. Permission to take off.
Permission granted. Heartbeat 2026. Take off.
Shh.
You tune in to Heartbeat.
Heartbeat. Heartbeat.
Heartbeat. You're listening to Heartbeat.
You tune in to Heartbeat.
Good morning and welcome. Happy start to the week. And Wake Up continues on WIDU 1600 AM, WIDU 99.7 FM, and the entire We Do Radio Network. We're also streaming live. Our live platforms, they include Facebook and YouTube. Be a blessing today. Like, share, and comment. If we're not friends, if you're not following, befriend us. Follow us today. We have perfect attendance in the building today. Yep. All of the men of great valor are here. They're looking good, doing good, feeling good, and ready to give us today's presentation of Heartbeat Radio Talk Show and Wake Up. WIDU, we do. Let us say a blessed good morning and welcome to the crew, the team, the family. The bishop is back. He was out on last week taking care of good business, and he's back today to take care of more good business. Bishop J.L. Guyboat is in the building. Senior Pastor Ron Guyboat of the crew, he's here. And the coach, the best for last, Coach Minister Tony Billingsley. And Senior Pastor and Coach, they held it down real good last week. Bishop, you'll be extremely proud. You taught the gents well. Good morning, Heartbeat team, Heartbeat family. We're ready for you. Take it away.
Thank you, Tammy. I didn't know I taught them at all. Okay, well, I'll take that. I'll take that. Listen, you got to dance like there's nobody watching, love like you never been heard, sing like there's no one listening, and live like it's heaven on earth. Good morning, world. I'm Dr. J.L. Godbolt.
I'm Dr. Ron Godbolt.
And I'm Tony Billingsley.
And this is Heartbeat Flight 2026 on Wake Up, where we still believe that the truth is still the truth, even if no one believes it. And the lie is still a lie, even if everyone believes it. It's a great day in the village of Lafayette. Let me tell you why. Because today is the birthday of my granddaughter. She celebrates 24 years.
Wow.
I call it the double government, 12-12. I texted her this morning. She's in Texas. How much I love her. And my sister-in-law, my sister-in-law, Diane Dolores Townsend. Happy birthday to you. I'm not giving out numbers on her, how old she is. But anyway, it's a great day in the village. To all of our friends in Laurinburg, North Carolina, WEWO, 1460 AM and 92.5 FM. Hello, we'd love to hear from you. Sometime, our friends in Lumberton, WAGR, 1340 AM and 97.1 FM. We want to hear from you as well down in Robeson County, still in Robeson County, WYDU, 1160 AM, 98.5 FM in the God Bless City, metropolitan Red Springs, North Carolina. I love it. And the flagship right here in Fayetteville, 1600 AM and 99.7 FM. We love you guys. Appreciate you so much. Our friends who are following us on Facebook, appreciate you as well. And social media, YouTube. Great to have you on board with us. If you're celebrating an anniversary, Captain has cleared his pipes one more time. Ready to sing it for you. We don't know how much he's going to do, but we're ready for you. Let's talk about Grief Share, my brother. What you got there, sir?
Yes, Grief Share still going on at this church every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30. The church is located at 918 Person Street here in the city of Fayetteville. Now, if you have questions, you can call the church at 910-323-8889. They also have an online session that meets on Saturdays from 9 to 10:30, and they can give you that information if you call that number, 910-323-8889, and they'll get what you need to know and help you get there. You can drop in anytime you want to and just check it out.
Yes.
It's a good program helping people deal with grief and loss of loved ones.
We're still saying that if you're in leadership helping other people, come in and just sit in a couple of sessions. It'll help you make better choices of words and helping people that are going through that grieving process. Captain, you know about that, and being in the military. We're just talking off the air how sometimes the job requires you to have to go and say to some family member about the loss of their loved one. Yes. So we're going to be making sure that we're doing all we can to help them on every area, from the cradle to the grave and on to glory as well. Hey, if you're alone, living, of course, by yourself, that's important for you to make sure that you're having conversation with other human beings. Don't allow yourself to be caught up into being by yourself all the time. It's okay to be alone, but not being lonely. So we're going to make sure that you can be a part of someone else's life and someone can be a part of yours as well. We only have 2 topics today because this hour is only 35 minutes long. But we're going to talk about homeowners being forced to sell to make room for AI. And we got some things about how that's working, of course. And then we're going to talk about the Sunshine Protection Act, daylight saving time. So we'll talk about that as well. Did you know? And a health tip. Got some things that I said yucky, but we're going to talk about it anyway. But before we get into those things, we wanted to take a moment to share our sincere condolences to the family of Sergeant Michael Emmanuel Swinton, who is a graduate of Jack Britt High School here and married to Mia, and they have 2 children, 6 and 4 years old. He was one of the military people who was inspecting a controlled detonated drone that was down in Iraq. And so in that time, he was one of those whose life was lost. And of course, it's always, any loss of life is something that concerns us. But here's a young man that is a part of our community. He is, if I remember correctly, Bishop McMillan. That's his great nephew.
Yes.
Great, and of course, we know Francis Monroe as well.
Yeah.
That's the family that we know of well.
Yes.
The Monroes as well as the McMillans. And to lose someone that is in our community,
Yes.
young man. And we know about that kind of loss because we had a nephew that was taken the same way when it was back during the days of the Iraqi situation. He was a leader of a particular group of young men, a sergeant as well, and he jumped on the detonating device to save his company. And that was something happened several years ago, but nonetheless, it brings back memories of losing a very special person in our community. Of course, our heart, we're praying for the family as well.
Yes, definitely. We offer our condolences for that. And somebody said that I think it counts up to about 18 soldiers that we have lost thus far. So it's praying time for this situation because we're losing men and women in this situation.
Yeah. Condolences to the Swinton family, along with the other 2 members that were killed in this conflict that we're presently in. It's mindful, and excuse me, just a second, that these young men, Sergeant Swinton and these other 2 individuals volunteered. They made a conscious choice to swear allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and they have paid the ultimate price.
Yes.
So my heart goes out to them and their families, and let us continually be in prayer for the families, and let us continually be in prayer that this conflict will come to an abrupt end.
I also heard this morning there have been several other detonations early this morning in that same area, so we're not sure of what the results will be from that as well. So we must continue to pray, and then of course talk with the right people to make sure that if we should be here, let's get it done. If we shouldn't, let's find out how we got here. And making sure that our families and those, again, we do all want to everybody who's holding positions of authority to make sure we're doing the right thing. That's always going to be the voice that we need to bring out and sharing in conversation with other people. But just knowing that every time we do something, there's always a negative side to it. So let's make sure that we are staying on the side of righteousness, and integrity. Okay. Again, our hearts goes out to and our prayers are with the families of Sergeant Swinton as well as the other 17 family members that were lost in this conflict so far, or war. I think they call it a war.
Wake up.
By the terminology we're supposed to call it. Okay. Anyway, let's get to this next one here. Homeowners are increasingly being forced to sell their homes because of the AI boom, massive energy demands and larger data centers. And of course, the one I would look at specifically was the Georgia Power, a huge, I didn't realize Georgia is major. Big numbers. There's something called eminent domain in order to build higher voltage power lines and that sort of thing to deal with the multi-billion-dollar companies. The court has given them rights to do certain things. But let's kind of talk about that because I'm of this opinion. God gives us the ability to come up with inventions. I get that. And I want to be balanced in what I say because biblically, and I'm going to stay there because I'm not going to let these other folk who come up with opinions stop me. The Bible says very plainly, there's safety in a multitude of counsel.
Yes, amen.
So if we get around the right people and we decide to sit down and talk about these things from every angle and not leave any angle out, which is why we have school improvement teams, why we have commissioners, and we have people of boards of this and whatever, is because we want to be able to look at things from both ends, both sides, all angles, if you will. And one thing about America, and I just have to say this, you all agree or disagree. Sometimes we want to be the first to do something so bad to be the first to get there that we'll do it at the detriment later on, years later.
Yeah.
We got to stop and clean up an environmental mess or something, that we leave these huge holes, open, gaping things, places, buildings, and location in our lives because we want to be the first to do something. We start flying the plane before we completely build it. So that's the first thing I want to say. But at the same time, I'm not against inventions, advancements.
Right.
I just feel like we don't spend enough time processing, spending time with those things before we decide to go with something.
And that goes back to, and some of y'all know, all of us work in the school system, how that before we find out if a program will work, we're going to change to something else. And we hadn't have enough results to see was it working. So that is one of our weaknesses, that we jump on stuff too fast before we recognize what might happen as a result of it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with both you gentlemen. We must spend more time in considering the future, especially our young people. What type of legacy are we leaving them, and what type of world are we leaving them to live in? It's amazing. We have countless numbers of examples throughout history of people not planning ahead and what happens. And here we are doing things without considering, well, what's this going to do 10 years from now? What is it going to do 30 years or 40 years from now? I agree with you that I'm in favor of advancement and increase in knowledge and those kinds of things. But when it becomes a detriment to people's health, well-being, and then people are losing their homes simply because somebody sees a dollar sign, we need to be careful.
Yeah. Mahatma Gandhi made a point of, he said inventions, he named, I think it was like 8 things that are detriment or dangerous, is inventions without conscience was one of those things, that when people can get power without conscience, or they have the ability to influence with no conscience. And that's where we have to be the conscience of so many leaders. And that's one of the reasons why when we look at our politics, Congress and Senates and houses of representatives and people these committees who are supposed to be talking, asking the right questions, you have to back up and ask yourselves, why do we have people who can stay in office that long? Again, secondly, why are they in the back pockets of some of these major businesses? You can't make right decisions and won't make right decisions if money is your God. If getting something free from somebody else and you in their back pocket. And that's my biggest concern, that we start moving, we call them laws, but we got ways to circumvent them to justify by using people to go in front of us.
And we as followers of Jesus Christ, understanding the sacrifice for the greater good.
Sure.
But when it becomes a detriment specifically to individuals, when you're losing your domicile, the place that you call home, that you grew up in, that's devastating. I didn't realize that these data centers use as much energy as they do. I knew they used it quite a bit, but this article I was reading indicates that it estimates that 70-80% of the power for these new lines in Georgia will go directly to the data centers, and only 20-30% will serve the state's growing residential and commercial needs.
Well, see, that's what I have no problem with that, as long as you have thought the process out and realize, okay, you're building a new data center, or you're building new power plants because you got new data centers coming in. Got it. I understand that. And I understand that it's going to take that much power to run the data centers, because as you were talking about, I pulled up something else about not the people who were talking about them losing their homes. But what does it take to run these kinds of centers? It's almost like an active power plant. As a matter of fact, I saw something that said that one of these plants, depending on the size of it, can use more electricity than 2 million households.
Wow.
One plant, depending on how much, from 1,000 to 2 million households, if you compare the difference. But again, have we processed all of the needs, or all of the 20 years from now, what do we look like? Have we created something that's going to be used against us? Because I think I heard the conversation earlier, the 8 o'clock show, they were talking about how that all of our, quote unquote, all of our, anything on the internet that we've been using has been compromised, someone has gotten into it.
Absolutely.
And used it. So are we setting up something else that if we have not realized what it's going to cost us, can someone else get online?
Yeah.
Think about this now. I'm gonna let you guys talk. Can you imagine, you may remember this, there was a power grid that went down in Ohio, and that thing was so big that it shut off power all the way through North Carolina.
Yes.
One power grid. Someone got in there and messed with it. Okay, now, I'm just playing devil's advocate, for the lack of a better word. Are we setting up a system, are we so busy trying to get something done so quickly that we'll set up a system that's so easy for someone else to get into? With that much power going on, could we set ourselves up for failure or annihilation, if you will?
I agree with you. Having been a fan of science fiction, many times the science fiction writer predicts what's coming. And there have been several movies about artificial intelligence taking over the grid and almost starting a nuclear war. As you were talking, I was thinking, and I don't want to get too deep spiritually, but this thing is almost like a living entity, that it consumes energy and all kinds of different things. Now we see it's consuming land and people's homes. As you say, the infrastructure is very vulnerable, and I'm surprised we haven't had more outward attacks on the grid. I'm sure that there's some subversive things being done to try to bring the grid down. And usually all it takes is one incident, and half the country could be without power, and we haven't experienced that to any large degree yet. So we got to be very careful as we create these entities. What kind of monsters are we creating? Are we going to be able to control the lion and the tiger in the cage?
The other thing I'm thinking about is they already tell us cut back on power. We ain't got much power, Now we're gonna pull in this big data that's gonna take up 70-80% of the power. Something's gonna go lacking.
That's part of the concern here. Now, I was looking at this piece as well. I said, okay, are we building in AI plants in North Carolina? Absolutely. So we got them being built around us as well. And I'm thinking, okay, Richmond County, they are building an AI, Amazon, actually it's an Amazon, putting $10 billion in infrastructure there to build a campus. We got, in Western North Carolina, I didn't get the specific county, but they're called Marble. It's a scientific AI project to bring things online there. Duke University got one they're building for their research purposes. We got one in $500 million one that's being built, and I don't see the area now, but there's one in Lenore, North Carolina. Google, they're building one as well. So right around us, we're seeing these kinds of things being done. Again, not knocking progress, but progress at the expense of someone else's health, homes, or the future of our next generation is what I'm concerned about. Have we really sat down and counted up the cost with all of the factors? Now, I haven't heard too much conversation about that. It's just how quick we got to get this done.
Yeah.
And it's almost like what somebody did in our own city. They started digging up the ground in front of the courthouse to put in some big convention center before they got permission from the city to do it. And then, of course, when the city didn't approve it, we got this hole in the ground trying to figure out, okay, who had the nerve to start doing this before you, again, ahead of the game, not thinking, not processing, not willing to wait to do it right.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that and spoke to it, because AI is here to stay.
Oh, yes.
It's not going anywhere. The advancement that we see are beneficial to us in many areas, medicine, education, all kinds of different things, and every community, believe it or not, as I research this, has a data center.
Oh, yes.
Somewhere. We got them right here.
Yeah.
I know we have 3 major colleges and a very large hospital complex here. They have small data centers within their complexes. And those data centers go out to some data center somewhere in our local area.
Captain, I got to tell you, you guys, just when we're so old. I'll give you that. We're so old. I remember when computers were mainframes, and I was at FSU in 1972. I think it was when I was my sophomore year or somewhere like that. And I remember the mainframes. The whole side of the wall was from one end of the classroom to the other side, about 6.5 feet tall, maybe 7 feet tall, with nothing but mainframes to operate. And it was so hot in there, they had to turn up air conditioners because they were throwing out so much heat. And when I saw this AI, that brought back to my mind what could happen. Eventually, somebody's going to figure out how to get all this done without these big buildings, without this amount of usage of water. Because right now, to cool this, that's why they need so much space. These data machines operate. They use so much, produce so much heat that you need a cooling density process, like 500 million gallons of water coming through to keep these things cool. So I get it. I'm following you on these things. But then the air quality is going to be compromised. So you got to figure out, how do you keep that? We already have a problem with our water. You mentioned that. We can't get it clean. We can't keep clean water because we keep hearing about things like happened here right in Grace Creek among us, where the water was compromised because we've got people putting PCB in the waters. Okay, we got all this stuff going on. When do we finally figure out who is running the ship with character and integrity that we can trust you to take care of us and not just get money in your pocket?
Come on, sir.
I know.
I mean, come on. Let's be real. All this stuff is about who can get the most money, who can get the biggest credit, but we don't care about the water supplying the people.
And then they get to this point, as Georgia is facing that, they give you an option: sell your house or we take it.
Yeah.
And we may need to do another segment on another show about this. You mentioned the amount of water that these data centers use, which is going to affect the food supply. And now we're seeing a almost pandemic of some type of parasite in raw foods, and we don't quite know where it's coming from. So what do we do when our food source and our supply of water is affected by something? These artificial intelligence, the human brain is probably the most marvelous thing that's God ever created. And I don't think any machine is ever smarter than a human being. But the speed at which they can calculate is so phenomenal that they're thousands and millions of steps ahead of us because of the ability to calculate at a quicker rate.
But that's why I say God gives that smart brain, but He gives us a heart for conscience sake as well.
Come on, sir, stay
and
there.
We misusing the heart because the brain can process. Another issue, I made a mistake. Let me correct myself. It's not 500 million gallons a day. It's 5 million gallons a day to cool down those plants. Not 500. I don't want somebody to say, you lying. Okay, I found out it's 5 million. I got excited. Okay. However, all of this processing that we're talking about really means that until we stop and recognize how dangerous it is to be the first and inventors, but what does it cost us in the long run? Processing is more important than just being able to be the first. You know what? It's already, I told you this hour is fast. We hadn't got to our second topic. We hadn't done a did you know and nor health tips. So let's just move on. Like Coach said, we might need to do this again and talk more about it because it's here to stay. Let's not get bent out of shape talking about the doomsday situation, but let's balance this out with culturally talking about things and intelligently talking about so we can figure out how to both live like they're dealing with now in, where was I listening to it was about the buffalo and the humans living in the same area now because they started building more into their properties and the buffalo their numbers started growing, so then we got to figure out how to live together. So let's do that. Did you know? All right. What you got? Coach, get us started, would you?
Did you know that the upcoming month, August, has the highest percentage of births? And I think that's probably true because two of my children were born in the month of August, and their mother was also born in the month of August, and my mother was born in the month.
So what were y'all doing in the winter?
And my sister was born in the month of August.
So what do y'all do in the winter? It's obvious what you were doing in the winter.
It's obvious.
Yeah. There was some cold winters, right?
Cold winters.
Cold in the winter. Okay. That's good.
Did you know an octopus have 3 hearts? 2 to pump blood to the gill and the other one to the rest of the body.
3?
3 hearts, yeah.
Wow.
That's why. That's what the little writer said. That's why they can multitask.
Okay. Just kind of work with me on this one, Tammy. The ancient mouthwash during the days of the Romans was to use stale human urine as a mouthwash. The ammonia in the urine acted as a powerful cleansing agent.
No.
We just lost Tammy. we just lost her. Okay, but anyway, let me clean up a little bit too. Doxophobia. You know what doxophobia is? Doxophobia is a clinical term for people who fear the opinions of others. Just to give you a did you know tip.
Well, that first one was, ooh.
I had to clean it up a little bit.
That's out the world.
Stale human urine.
I think I'd be without mouthwash.
Yeah.
Was that Bishop Rowden coming frowning up at us? Okay. What you got for a health tip there, Doc?
Floss under a minute. They said the size of your teeth is where food and bacteria collect and cause problems. And say water flossers are not as efficient as the old-timey string, but it does help. It's better than nothing at all, the dentist says.
So are you saying S-I-Z-E or S-I-D-E? Side or size?
Size,
the
yeah.
size.
The
side, S-I-D-E. Okay.
S-I-D-E.
Okay.
That's where you need to work hard on your size.
Okay. Now I got my water pick. This thing I'm doing. I better pull out that old string again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. That's good information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Doc. I'll follow you, Captain.
Okay. For mental, emotional, and physical health, we need at least 30 minutes throughout a 24-hour period of time of just doing absolutely nothing.
I hear you.
Not even sleeping to some degree, but just doing nothing, not trying not to think on any specific thing, maybe going out and getting in nature and looking at the trees or the birds. It renews you and it improves your mental, emotional, and physical well-being.
Let's
At least 30 minutes.
Yeah, a pause.
Yeah.
Pause in your day. Yeah, I like that.
Wow. You remember old folk you sit on the porch?
Yeah.
And rock.
And rock.
Oh, yeah.
Doing nothing.
Doing that.
And they live longer.
You live longer.
And let me add to that, since you're talking about it. Did you know that readers live longer? Yale University did a study and found that reading books at least 3.5 hours a week can increase your lifespan by 20% over non-readers.
Wow.
Now,
I'm gonna write that down.
I don't know.
20%.
20%. By 20% compared to those who don't read, who are non-readers. I don't know if it means that you're actually spending time, again, pausing to give the body a chance to renew itself. I have no idea, but 3.5 hours a week of reading can increase your life expectancy by 20% compared to those who are non-readers.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of neuroscience, and as you were saying that, I was thinking when you're reading how your brain frequency adjusts, and you use a lot more cognitive reasoning than you do if you're just sitting. You're building what do you call those things? New dendrites and new
Action there. Yeah. That's
good stuff there.
It is. As we get older, we find these things. I say, I wish I knew that when I was younger. But I mean, life is life. Thank God we have this opportunity. Okay,
I got to tell y'all this. A teacher told a kid one time. She said they was talking about brains, and those waves in your brain. That's how smart you is. And she said to him, "I'm gonna call you Slick, okay?" He didn't pick it up.
He didn't pick it up.
Well, Slick, okay. The Sunshine Protection Act. This is daylight saving times. To keep or not to keep? That is the question.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But here again, when we start to make up things and try to do things, we can put ourselves in a pickle situation. But anyway, the Sunshine Protection Act is a proposed federal legislation that will make daylight saving time, the DST, permanent across the United States. Okay. Instead of twice a year, we spring forward and we fall back. We don't have to worry about that anymore. However, it did pass in the House. House of Representatives passed it 308 to 117. So as we talk about the Senate getting ready for this, which is going to be a beast, the Senate is always, well, all of it. Anyway, we just pray on all of it. Okay, so let's look at the details here. But to help some of you out, I wanted to know, how did this thing get started in the first place? And I did find out in 1916, the German in Austria during World War I, they did this in the beginning to save energy. They found out that by advancing the clock, they could maximize the daytime hours, and instead of doing artificial lighting, to conserve the fuel for the military. So that was why the Germans did it, to conserve the fuel that they needed to produce light in the dark. So we get that. So they did their thing. In America, I want to find, I give you this, I got to find that first use was in Ontario. In the United States, again, 1918, it was about the same time we did it. It was, again, to appeal against war situation. But there was a lie, a fallacy about farmers needing it for the daytime to get up and spend more time getting in the fields. But farmers don't get up by the clock. They never did. We got up, when I remember when I was with Mr. Irvin off and Austin Algren, our Uncle Stuck, we got up before the sun got up. That's right. So we can eat, and then when the sun was up, so you can see, we were already in the field working.
And you worked until it went down.
And we worked till it went down. We didn't care about the time. That was it. Okay, but anyway, let's give me your insights, guys, on this. What do you think?
Boy, I'm looking at this article, and it's saying that the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, they argued that a permanent daylight saving time could be detrimental to our body's circadian rhythms and would be dangerous.
Oh, yeah?
Dark winter mornings for children and commuters. They're estimating that in the wintertime that we might not see daylight until around 9 p.m. in some places.
You mean 9 a.m.?
I'm sorry, 9 a.m.
Okay.
To some places. And so when you get children commuting on buses in the dark, people commuting to work in a large volume of people, you're probably going to have more accidents.
Yeah. I'm of opinion, of course, I'm personally here that, it takes a while to get changed up a little bit, but the older you get, but that makes sense what Tony said, because I can remember, as I worked the school system off and on, and when they had that time and it's dark going to work, it's not as pleasant.
No.
To go to work in the dark, and like you said, it's dangerous. You have to be very careful in the morning time, because I can see where could be a problem. But I've been saying just leave it alone, but I don't know.
I agree with you. Whatever you do, please just do it and leave it alone so that we can adjust to whatever is done. I go back to what Dr. John is saying about really being mindful and thoughtful and examining things before we make these decisions. What is going to be the overall impact? And we see that there are studies available that could give us insight into things that could happen, but we don't want to sometimes believe the data. We were hearing about global warming for how many years, and now we're experiencing it.
Yeah.
I told my wife not to use that term global warming, so use climate change.
Climate change.
Because global warming, it's still winter, look at this, and they misunderstand the whole concept. But yeah, all of these things that we're talking about has to do with, again, processing planning, because I'm looking at some of the reasoning why they were proposing it. Like in 1895, a New Zealand entomologist named George Vernon Hudson, he proposed a 2-hour shift in his area so that he will have more daylight time to collect bugs after work. Okay, so some of the reasoning behind this, we can get into a real quagmire of concerns when people start to tell us why we want to do this.
Yeah.
And I remember how dangerous it was at certain times in the mornings when the sun is up, based on where our streets, people are traveling, highways. At a certain time, you're going to have the sun on an eastbound street looking straight into your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're at a place like, I'm going to give you a school, for instance, you got a Cape Fear Mac Williams School, where people walk across a major street there, and someone is stopping that traffic. Okay, you've got, we used to be over on, I can't think of the name of the street now, but where Warrenwood Elementary School is. Anyway, those areas, you got these cars. When you look at the sunrise and the time of day, and you start putting kids who live in the neighborhood who is across the street, I'm here to tell you, bro, when someone can't see, and I remember the time, and I don't know the woman's name, God bless her family and her heart, she was the crossing guard and she held up the sign, but the person couldn't see even her. The sun was in her face, and she grabbed the child and snatched the child back, and she lost her life to save her child's life right there at Cape Fear some years ago. And the timing that we set things up and a loss of life. Now, I know this is one in a zillion, but what about if that was your one child or your one mother or sister that went through that? So being aware, again, of the shifting, and you mentioned this part too, I think, Captain, you mentioned that about the psyche, the ability to adjust our circadian rhythm based on flipping back and forth. I know it's tough enough when you're traveling. When I'm traveling overseas or to another time zone or some other place, I mean, they put me. I said, just stand me up, let me preach, and then sit me down because I am not where I think I am.
Yeah,
my body.
Yeah, and the body is able to adjust. I think you visited Norway.
Yeah,
and the amount of sunlight that people experiences versus darkness, but they adjust, and so their culture becomes refined based on that adjustment to the sunlight. Now, I can tell you, people have already figured these things out because governments worldwide operate on a different time schedule than you and I.
Yeah.
Because there's a place called Greenwich, England.
Okay.
And you've heard of Greenwich Mean Time. Well, that sets the world clock worldwide.
Okay.
And then governments operate off of a certain time based on this Greenwich Mean Time. So the president of the United States can call the prime minister in England or France and get in touch with them in case of a crisis because they adjust times.
Okay.
The military has a certain time that they do things, and they call it Zulu time, where they operate and execute certain things based on a particular clock, not just the clock that you and I operate off of. And so it's amazing to me that President Trump, after his contacts with Mr. Elon Musk, has decided that we need this permanent change in
the time.
Our time.
Yeah.
So what's really going on?
Yeah, that's always been the issue. Again, people who don't have the conscience to care about other folk making decisions. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there are some states that don't participate in the daylight saving time.
Absolutely, and even with this new bill, states will have the opportunity to opt out.
Wait a minute, come on.
Yeah, even though it'll pass as a federal regulation, states will have some. If states want to, they have the opportunity to opt out. So what does that do in your travel? You're going to get on an airplane and travel from North Carolina to
I think it's Nevada. Was it Nevada or Arizona?
Definitely Arizona don't participate in it.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I don't know. Greater minds than me are
I think I saw the number like 19 states right now not participating, I believe. Each year it's increasing more and more. But I think when Tony talked about that sleep thing, I think that should be, of course, it's always the money, but it should be health should be the number one priority.
Health should be the number one priority.
What are we looking at? Are kids going to be able to function in school? That kind of thing. I think that should be the driving force, but always it's the money.
Yeah, I suffer from obstructive sleep apnea, and I never realized how important quality sleep was to your overall health.
Oh yes.
And it was discovered because the doctor was monitoring certain things. He said, "Oh, we need to do a sleep study on you." And then when they did, they found out that I had this sleep apnea. But sleep is so important, and as you say, God intended for things to be a certain way. The Bible, if you read the scripture, he says the evening and the morning were the first day. So he started in darkness
to light,
and went to light. There's something there we ought to think about.
Always.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to continue this conversation, but MP1, MP2, and MP3 will be coming here shortly, so we can figure out what to do with our sleep study. I'm like you. I figured out if I go to bed at the same time, if I got my room cool and lights down low, if I've gotten off this thing called the phone, about 35, 40 minutes before I go to bed, I am pretty much ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's important to be able to get that good night of rest.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I can go to bed I can go to sleep at 4 o'clock, and at 5:36 I'm wide awake as soon as as soon as I see that first ray of sunlight come peek through my blinds. I gotta rise. Now, that doesn't say I'm not going to take a nap during the day.
Well, my pointing for bringing that up is it's hard for me when they go back and forth from daylight saving time to get back oriented.
Me too. They said 30 states have introduced the bill to end the changing of the clocks.
Okay.
But Arizona and Hawaii, the U.S. territories, they all have stick to standard time. They're not planning to do anything. They're Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, all those areas.
So they want to remain on God's time.
Yeah.
And not this new time. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, it has happened. Tammy's back in the room. We got to get out of here. It's been great sharing with you. I hope we had shared something with you about, listen, let's not fight good changes, but also let's make sure that there's safety in the multitude of counsel, that before we start to do things, before you get married, before you change houses, before you buy that new car, don't just do it from a whim out of your back pocket. Think about it, process, get some information, slow the train down, pause. We love you. Remember, the only thing the evil needs to triumph
is for good men to do nothing.
Bye-bye.